Karen with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing you the back to school project recipe in this video. Back to School came out in August of 2022, so it's been about 6 weeks now, maybe a little bit more than 6 weeks. And I try not to come out with these right when the collection is released, just because I want to give advisors an opportunity to present this to their customers as an incentive for them to attend their events as much as possible. But it is time to go ahead and share this with you, and it is a pretty easy one. It goes together really quickly, so let me just share with you what you'll need. I'm going to use 2 pieces of goldenrod cardstock as my base. You can either use cardstock, you can use your page, you can use 2 pieces of designer paper if you would prefer, but I am just going to use cardstock today because I'm not sure exactly where this is going to end up in my book that I'm putting together just yet. But it is going to go in there, and it'll be fun. You'll recognize it when I do that, when I get to those pages to flip through. So let me just show you real quick. This also uses the new Bordermaker cartridge that came out in September that's called Home Sweet Home. It has these cute little houses, and I think they're meant to be schoolhouses actually, but you know, you could use them for regular homes. It's a pretty multi-purpose cartridge, so I really do like it for that feature, but it is very cute for school. And you can see in the example of the project recipe that they give, it is very cute using the apple paper to go ahead and print those houses out of. Although I have found that if the design that you print it from is too busy, it really does take away from the way that the houses look and how easy they are to see. You can see that they are easier to see when you have it on the darker background than they are on a lighter background with a lot going on. That's pretty busy. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the other 2 pages that I've chosen. I'm going to use this page that has kind of the quote bubbles on it, and then it has a green composition book mottled kind of texture on the back. And then I'm going to use this one that has all of the scissors and crayons and erasers and glue and all kinds of school tools and the school buses on the back. Okay, so those are going to be my 2 designer papers. You only need 2 designer papers, as you can see, for this design, because you are going to use the reverse of half of one of those papers. And so make sure you like the back of whichever one you're not going to be punching with your Bordermaker, because you are going to be flipping those pages over. Let me get these base pages out of the way and grab my trimmer, and we will go ahead and get these cut so that we can get cut and punched so that we can get to assembly, because this really does go together very quick. All right, so I'm going to use the blue page as my punch page. So I am just going to cut this page in half at 6 inches. Let me see if there is, no. So there is kind of a directionality to this page. You want your thought bubbles to be right side up so that the arrow sort of that points to who's talking is going down. So I'm going to turn mine horizontally because this is going to go horizontal across the page, and I want my thought bubbles to be horizontal across the page. All right, so we're going to punch these 2 pieces, so I'm just going to set those aside until we're ready to do that. And then you can see that we're going to cut this page in half as well. So I do have school buses on the other side, which is a little bit directional. My 6x6 squares I can turn any way I want, but my 6x4 squares need to be, the buses need to be going the right direction. And so, and also in these pieces down here, the buses will need to be going the right direction. So I need to make sure that I'm cutting it with the buses heading towards the top of my trimmer. That way I can make sure that the pieces on the bottom of what we're cutting will be accurate. Okay, I'm just going to stack these and cut them together because there's really no reason to make extra cuts when you're cutting them all the same anyway. So we're going to cut a 6-inch square like I mentioned. So here's our 6-inch square. We're going to set that aside. Then we're going to cut a 4x6 mat. So this is already 6 inches, so we're just going to measure it at 4 and cut. And then we're going to take the remaining 2 inches of paper and we're going to cut that in half to make 2 1-inch by 6-inch strips. So we're just going to line that up, or just center it if you have, you know, a little bit of overlap, you know, because depending on if you cut before the line or on the line or after the line, you might have just a slightly larger than 2 inches, which is okay. All right. You just want it to be even so that both sides are going to be the same, much as possible. There we go. Okay. So now I've got my 4 1-inch square or 1-inch by 6-inch strips. And those are all the cuts that we do for this one. We are going to punch some though. So grab your border maker and we are going to punch the top edge of each of these half sheets. There we go. And you will want to make sure that it's the top edge. So if you have a directional paper, like I am using a directional paper, you'll want to make sure that it is the top edge you are punching. We're just going to punch all the way across carefully. As you see, I got hung up there just a little bit. And one of the cute byproducts of this punch is you do get these sweet little hearts that you can save and use in a shaker card or something like that if you'd like. Or you can just toss them. It is up to you. Sometimes it's hard to pick them out of all the other stuff. But, you know, if you can, sometimes it's worthwhile to keep. Nope. Missed one. There's one. There it is. Okay. Get all my little extra doodads thrown out. There's one. Then we're going to do the other sheet. And then we'll be ready to assemble. So like I said, this one does go together super, super fast. I was going through some old photographs that my mom had scanned into the computer from prints that she had taken out of old magnetic albums. And I have the original photos somewhere, but of course, you know, they were put in a good safe place. Do you have any good safe places in your house? Yeah, so they got put in a good safe place when we moved, and I have not been able to find them. So I had to reprint some of them. Fortunately, like I said, my mom had scanned them, so I went and reprinted some of them. I'm going to show you when we're done here in a layout similar to the one we're making right now, so that you can see what it looks like. All right, so we have all the pages, all the pieces that we need now to be able to assemble this. Let's go ahead and now I'm going to just double check and make sure I want to use yellow because of the fact that we have our yellow school buses, which I had not really thought about. Didn't think that went all the way through. So we might want to switch that up with something. It's going to go behind. We're going to use that side and we're going to use this side. And I'm just laying this out so you can see kind of what it's going to look like. And actually, when you assemble this, you go ahead and put these right up here in the corner. So, and then this comes right to the bottom. And then this will have the yellow school bus on it, like so. I'm thinking that maybe I might want to use green paper instead. So hold that thought. I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, so we've got yellow goldenrod, actually cardstock out here, but I am gonna swap that out for leaf green, and I'll show you why. With our cute little buses on our designer paper, if we don't swap it out, we're going to lose the effect of that cute little bus paper. And I want to be able to see that cute little bus paper. So I'm going to, so you can see the difference over here. If we use the yellow. So I'm just not going to use the yellow. Like I said, we are going to use green because that's going to look so much nicer. All right, so we're going to use green. Let me just swap this out and then we'll get this assembled. Okay. Grabbing my adhesive. First thing we're going to put on is this 6x6 square. All right, so go ahead and adhere some adhesive. Get your adhesive stuck on there, and depending on which side you're starting on and which one you're doing, you know, you just want to make sure if your paper is directional that you're putting it on so that it's right side up, right? Now I'm going to take my school buses and I'm going to use this piece so that I have the best one with most of my school buses showing. This is going to go right over the corner, just like so. Okay, so my adhesive gets bent. All right, there we go. Okay. We're going to do the same thing on this side, only we're going to do the 6x6 square with the bus side out. All right. And they're going to go right here in the corner. And we're going to flip the paper over and use this cute crayon paper. School Tools across the top. All right, now you're going to take the piece that you punched and we're going to use our repositionable adhesive across our houses and then our permanent adhesive across the rest, and maybe just a couple in the middle just for good measure. Then the bottom edge of where you punched is going to go right along the bottom edge of your 6-inch square. Okay, then you're going to take your other school buses, and I'm going to just swap these two out because this one has such a nicer view of the school buses. And we're going to put this right here in the bottom corner. And if it overlaps with this, that is totally fine. Okay, and it will. Okay, then you're going to take your mat, and because we used the crayons and the school tools up here, we're going to flip this around and use that same side for our mat down here in the corner. And I would just center it and then put it maybe about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the edge on this side. Or you could put it all the way on the edge if you're going to be putting 2 full-size photos down here. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and get this other little bit put on. We're going to do our houses. And I put just a little on every house. You don't have to do every house. When I did my other piece, my other version of this layout, I did not put adhesive on every single house. It's not necessary. You know, this adhesive adheres really well, so there's really no reason to overdo unless you just really want to. May depend on who you're making your book for. If you're making it for, you know, a young person to be able to look at, depending on how young they are, they may not be as careful as you want them to be when no one's looking. So just keep that in mind. All right, so then we're going to put this base piece on in the corner down here. It's going to match the piece at the top. And then we're going to flip over our mat so that it matches the square up here. So my school buses need to be headed in the right direction instead of upside down. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now we get to embellish. And you'll see when I show you my sample, there are, you can cut your photos down, you can move them around just a little bit. You could move this so that it goes this direction, so that you have both of your base colors together. You know, it's up to you. You wouldn't want to turn it upside down necessarily because your houses would then be upside down, and if you have directional paper like I do, then my school buses would be upside down. And I worked so hard to get those right side up. I really don't want them to be upside down. So we're going to leave it like this. And then we're going to take, and I found this cute tablet with some earbuds and Learn, and we're going to use that as one of our embellishment groups, along with possibly some pencils, maybe. tuck one behind. I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe do some school rules up here in the corner. And then I did this on my other one and I thought it was very cute, but this pencil is going to blend in with my base a little bit too much. So what I could do is swap these out and use the pencil up here, maybe lean it against the side of the house or something. That might work. And then I just won't adhere the top of the ruler down. Okay, and then we need some stickers to add some jazz to a couple of these. So let's see. We can add some more writing implements maybe over here, since we have the pencil thing kind of going on. We could add a pencil that would add some yellow. Maybe we should do the yellow pencil. We could do blue over on this side, yellow on this side. I don't know. Something to think about. Do the yellow pencil and maybe the eraser. We want to be able to put a photo in this square if we have one to put in there. So I'm going to grab my foam squares and pop this guy up just a little bit. Stick that eraser in there like so, and maybe add a little bit of red for an apple for the teacher kind of thing. Something a little bit like so. I kind of like that. We'll stick those two together so they can hang out. We'll just set it on there for right now until we can decide for sure. And then let's see, school rules down here is going to be popped up with one of our bigger foam squares. Just to keep it up off of the page so we can get a photo underneath it when we're ready. And then we need to add something fun to the school rules. It needs to be fun, but it needs to not be too high, because if it's too high, then we could put a paper airplane down there, maybe. And the A+. And we'll put foam squares on the back of this one too. Kind of just add them up here. And I'm going to move that a little bit more over towards the center so that we'll just have kind of the edges of photos for those. I'll go ahead and adhere these down, but I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to go ahead and take the sticky off of this top one. I'm going to leave that covered. That way any photos that need to slide on there can slide really easy, and there won't be any issue with that. So Let me show you. I've got a sticky note right here, so we'll just pretend that's a photo. So see how that will still slide behind there. So that'll be good. And then we'll pop learn up, but I think I'm just going to adhere this one down flat. And of course you could use this square up here for another photo if you wanted as well, because it's large enough. Certainly you could do that. I am not, though. I am following the directions of the project recipe by putting my embellishments in this particular field up here. So we're just gonna add this guy so that his ends, that's the trick with these little swags. They're super cute, but you know, the ends kind of need to go where they're supposed to go, right? So trying to make sure each of the ends are where they need to be, and you can still see the other things you want to be able to see. All right, I think that will work right there like that. And then where did it go? Here it is. Okay, so we're going to put learn also up on some foam squares. Come on. All right, and I'm just going to use some smaller ones on the top of the L and out here. And maybe just one in the middle right here too. There we go. Okay. And learn is going to go right across that tablet to remind everybody what we're looking at. Learning. As if we don't remember that. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of make it so that it touches that pencil up there also. All right, there we go. There are our 3 embellishments on our cute page, and we can put pictures really all across both of the bottom areas, across here, another one here, or you could do a journal box in here, or you could use this little bit down here for your journal box, or right on the blank parts as well. Let me show you the one that I did just the other day. That's this one. And these are pictures of me when I was in 2nd grade. And some pictures of my cousin also. She was in 2nd grade. Or actually, I beg your pardon, she was a little bit older than me, so she was not in 2nd grade. But anyway, I told my husband, I showed him this one, and I said, look, it's proof positive that I can do a cartwheel. Or at least I could when I was in 2nd grade. So anyway, just some fun things and options to show you. You'll notice that my photos down here are not right on the same plane. I did move this one, the one in the center, up just a little bit, which you can do. You could certainly modify this in a lot of different ways, but this is the project recipe that was designed to go with back to school. It goes together very quickly, and I love that about it. And I love the colors of this collection. They're just so cute and primary and perfect for school. I hope that you like it too, and I hope you've enjoyed walking through this project recipe with me. I hope that you will use this project recipe, if not with the back to school collection, then certainly with another collection, because it is worthwhile. It is super cute. You could use any connected punch across the center, and it would be very, very cute. and really fast, as you can see. So thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I wish you many more creative moments. You have a great day. All right, I have to apologize. I adjusted my arm for my camera and didn't realize that in doing so, I made it so that I really do have to keep my pages farther on my table, or you don't get to see this bottom bit. And I cannot, I also want to fix one other thing. I cannot fix this side because I did already adhere this down, but I can fix this side. This lower piece right here that we put on last is actually supposed to go underneath your blue piece. And that in putting it underneath, it will display more of the optical illusion of many layers of paper. So I'm fixing that on this side because I can. I cannot fix it on the other side. But if you just pop it up and stick that sheet underneath it, then it will look much more in line with as if you have a whole sheet of the yellow, in my case, the yellow school bus underneath there. Now it's not going to line up over here. Maybe I'll try and pop that off. See if I can get it to pop off. It's harder to do when you use foam squares. I don't know if I can get it to come off. Undoing mistakes with foam squares is a lot less forgiving. Oh, look at that. Woohoo! Okay then. I might be able to make it happen. Watch out, world. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Let's get this popped up on this edge, and we'll scoot that underneath. Maybe. Come on. Oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Yay. Oh, it's so nice when you realize that you goofed and then you can fix it. All right. There we go. Perfect. Now that all matches and looks lovely, and you can put your pages together like this and they match pretty well. It's pretty close to matching down here. All right. I hope that, again, that you'll be excited and want to go ahead and put this page together. I know that it will go together very nicely for you, especially if you do it correctly the first time, unlike me. So I hope that you will do that and put that in your books. And thanks so much for bearing with me and that correction. And I will be really careful. I'm trying to be more careful, but I will be even more careful in the future with my photography skills. They're evolving. I'm getting better. Thanks for your patience. Have a great day.